absolutely gripping television. Two supernovas colliding, champions trying to knock each other out with feathers in a tickling contest. Krats roaring in for the first ball of the summer. Nothing mattered before this. Blokes with hooks for hands trying to catch. Warner on comms telling blokes to pleave it. Adelaide's burning sky setting ablaze a backdrop worthy of a dream. Red sky at night gear, good gear, the best gear you've ever had in your life. Australia has the best stadiums. Everything else can get in the bin. Every other format can get in the absolute garbage. Adelaide, you are gorgeous. You are magnificent. 50,000 RDOs on a Friday. Half the crowd trying to get laid out the back while our heroes with names and numbers on their whites fight the new superpower out in the middle. This is Test cricket. What a series we have, Pezza. Test cricket, proper cricket, our summer, prime time. Someone turn the lights back on. The best of the best. Carry me over the threshold and kiss me in the morning. This is magnificent television. Go on, Charlie, roll the clip.
This is Baba Now, and this is BB Now. Matlab Big Basket Now, delivering in 10 minutes.
Thanks very much to Big Basket Now for Get Behind TGC for what is, Pezza, now a very enjoyable series. I've had to uninvite 300 wedding guests, unfortunately. Things have not turned out as I planned, but that was a great day of Test cricket.
Wasn't it, mate? And I know people will be watching this going, oh, the Aussies are up and about now. Well, fuck. We haven't had much of an opportunity, have we? I mean, even as Krats went through India, and we will come to it, and India was kind of teetering at 5 for 80 or whatever it was, even then at 5 for 80, all that was in anyone's head was Bumrah, or Boomerah, depending on where you're from. I say Bumrah, and so does everybody else except one guy. But even then, Indian fans, at 5 for 80 in Australia doing okay, you could hear the Jaws music, you know, somehow. He's coming. He's coming. And the thoughts turned, such as Jasprit Bumrah being in our heads as a nation, thoughts turned to whether we were dismissing India at the wrong time. You know, like when is the right time to bowl a team out? I don't think I've ever come across that idea in any form of cricket. Christmas with a grandmother, under 10 stuff against kids who should be in other classes of education that I'm afraid to say online. You know, test match cricket. Like, never in Australia's hostile history have I thought, let's bowl them out at a time that suits our batters later. But that's where Bumrah was in our heads. And instead, we have scaled the dizzying heights, he goes, of McSweeney on 30-odd knot, Marnus on 17 or whatever. We're 1 for 90, and we can play cricket again. You know, we can play. And for that reason, Test cricket's great. You know.
And didn't we leave the ball well today? You know, I didn't think we'd be celebrating the leaves. Like New Yorkers in autumn, you know? It's just the leaves changing over. I think it's spring, actually. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But it was you know, we got some Sydney McSweeney action. We got some Mana stuff. We got to remember what it was like when our team used to sledge. We got some Siraj toys out the pram gear. We got a bloke carrying a beer snake. And we got to see South Australia's finest in Adelaide and the new opening batter. It was just, that's just a great day. It's a great day.
Australians rejoice around the world. Like, it turns out that the team was right. They can play cricket still. We got moments at the end of the day when, you know, our commentators were deconstructing the techniques, the lines and the lengths of foreign bowlers. And that's all we've asked for. Right? We expect that in the first test. We've had to wait until the second. Now, we're only a day in, okay? We probably should cool thy jets, but we won't, okay? It was hot today. It was humid. So, look, let's actually kick this off. We have to start, you know, the most obvious players. Krats, he goes. For the uninitiated, Krats is Starc backwards, so that's his nickname.
Hey there, Kratsy boy.
And you know, there's only one way to say Kratz. How are you, Kratz?
Hey,
And Kratzy boy got it done for Australia. Now, I'm not saying he goes that it's that this performance today was, you know, cometh the hour, cometh my face stuff, but it was hoisting the nation on his shoulders in a moment of most need, and you know, taking Jaiswal first ball, you know, kicked things off. Now, don't get me wrong. An hour later, it was 1 for 60, and when June had blow-ups about Nathan Lyon starting with a long on, you know, I feared the worst. You know, Shubman Gill looked 100, you know, like from his first ball. The languidity of the man when, you know, we thought that we were up and about, Starc roaring, was intimidating in and of itself. You know, like he comes in and slaps 1 for 4, then another one's down the ground. The end of the over, India's on top again. You know, it was a good time for us for one ball. But at the end of the day, Kratz, pink ball, day-night stuff. What is he? He's taken 70 wickets at 17. It's about Bumrah's average his entire career. But we love him, and he got it done for Australia today.
Best ever figures against India, his first bag against India. Previous best figures are 4 for something. Who cares about that? Today's the day. Today's the now. It did make me miss the king today, Pezza. I've got to say, it made me miss the great Shane Warne, because obviously we got to hark back to memories of Rory Burns at the Ashes of the Gabba that time, you know, and Warney on comms is saying he's missed a half volley on leg stump, you know, and I just would have liked to have known if Warney would have done that to an Indian player, you know. I guess we'll never know, but you know, it was very similar. They were very similar modes of dismissal, very similar deliveries. And I guess we've learnt that, you know, Kratz is probably the one that should be dropped when Hazelwood comes back. You know, I'm sorry, the body language was off again for me. It was just a little bit mopey. So that's just, no, mate.
So, yeah.
How I actually feel when Starc does well and takes wickets. It's his 15th 5-wicket haul for Australia. Yeah. He's one of the guys that's won everything: World Test Championship, T20 World Cup, and 2 50-over World Cups. And he's just like, never has a guy achieved so much yet copped the most shit. And it makes me happy for him when he does well, which is consistently. but you know, body language. So
yeah, mate. I mean, look, again, one day in cool-eyed jets. Starc has so many receipts that the return at tax time is just going to be unbelievable. It's going to be, you know, midgets and hookers and you know, Class A's, the whole thing.
Coke off a midget's tits, Pezza.
Coke off a midget's tits. That's right, he goes. And it's late. And
yeah, it's late.
Yeah. Like, again, as you say, the incorrect body language, the mopiness. Once again, it's another Australian with an exceptional performance in all the mathematical, statistical ways that cricket offers you, but something still doesn't seem right about it, and I will throw my toys at the pram the minute something goes wrong. I don't know. That dismissal did look awfully a lot like Burns' one, so when Yashasvi Jaiswal goes on to score 15,000 test runs, perhaps that dismissal of Rory Burns might get some credibility. I don't know. Not sure. I don't know if that one came too quickly for Jaiswal. I know they've come too slowly in the past. Nevertheless, you know, he's gone duck 160 duck, so I'm concerned about the next innings. And, you know, anyway, Australia did well. Australia did well. Here goes. What are some other moments? How about we throw forward to the In 10 segment for our Big Basket now, the 10 minutes that changed the game. I have to say we didn't really write this segment until the very end of play, while the guy whose birthday it was, Bumrah, still had the ball in hand. But I do think the 10 minutes that changed the day was this kind of unexpected 3 for 12 off 16 balls that Australia took. I think it was the dismissals, he goes, of it was Gill, then Kohli, then Rohit. Would that be right? Which they all sort of seemed a little innocuous in and of themselves. It seemed like I guess the game was moving in India's, you know, like towards India. The momentum was with India. KL Rahul and Gill looked quite good, sexual and good at the crease, and all of a sudden. Or was it KL Rahul and Gill and Kohli? I don't fucking know. Anyway,
it went KL Rahul, Kohli, Shubman, Rohit.
Right,
so
then there was a break, and then they got Rohit
4 for
the
18 they lost. Yep.
Yeah, so Rohit was the other side of the break. Apologies. But yeah, like McSweeney comes forward, takes a great catch to dismiss KL Rahul, and it almost seemed to be a lull. Like it was like, did that carry to him? But it carried easily. Obviously that triggered a lot of commentators to start talking about Virat Kohli coming into bat before we were able to analyse the dismissal of KL Rahul, and then even when Virat got out, there was some dismay amongst some commentators as well. Barely concealed dismay. But you know what?
Oops.
People, people commentate for the audience, and a lot of the audience would have been dismayed at Virat's dismissal. You know what can I say? Not me at home, but that's just me.
Sometimes you just got to fish where the fish are. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I love Kohli, by the way. Yeah.
Starc finishes 6 for 48, and just like there's a theme running throughout the day now. Like we know about New India and the confidence that these guys have therein. It's a new generation, and cricket's like a religion over there. So you have to remember that.
Really, that's interesting.
But like when Jaiswal's chirping Starc, you see Harshit Rana, giving it to the bowlers as well. There's like life comes at you fast, man, and cricket comes at you fast. Now, like. Just some moments throughout the test match and I suppose the series so far. Now, I'm just going to call it out because no fandom has ever experienced and witnessed more shithousery, perhaps in any sport. So, it takes one to know one, but cricket comes at you fast, man. And, you're going to chirp and say what you're going to say, and then next test, first baller, that kind of gear, it's... life comes at you fast. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's go there now. I was going to get into Australia being able to bat and everything that was coming after that. But, Harshit Rana. Now, first things first, looks a great player. It's a great rig. It's coming in at 140 clicks. We saw him in the IPL. Everything about it looks good from a, technique perspective, potential perspective. The coach has a lot to say for a bloke and who's done nothing at test level yet. A lot of front. He's got that long old follow through, like the big old locomotive struggling to put the brakes on there. Just like, mate, ease it up, brother. Let's finish it up. But he's still popping it on through there. Mate, you're 2 minutes out of the test womb, big boy. Put away the 2-pack stare. You know what I'm saying? Like long old series.
Yeah.
But again, parentheses around it. Great. Looks the goods, but fuck me. There's a lot of front early. New India, like it, or play on, go for it. Just saying.
And salad's amazing. Earring good.
Yeah.
It's I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's exciting. It's an exciting time to be a young Indian. Cricket, you're dominating. Everything's coming up India. Like we get it. Like we get it. But you know what? It did make me miss that we can't do that anymore. Like our team can't do that anymore. Because if we carried on in the way that India already has in the tour games, calling umpires, stupid decisions, that kind of stuff. Siraj throwing the ball. Like Australia's not allowed to do that anymore, and for good reason. We were coats for 50 years. Okay, yep. We had to go.
We had our turn.
We took it too far, and now we're not allowed to do it, okay? But I did miss when Bumrah's jiving down the wicket to Marnus and Kohli's walking in. I was like, that's when cricket is so fun. That's when cricket is so good, when you can just carry on with your mates and you can't really mess up unless you drop a catch, but the ball's not really going to come to you, so you're probably fine, Pack mentality. Fuck, that's fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does well up some feelings in my gut being like, oh, I fucking hate you, So, it's just, that's good television, Pezza.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was 9 years old, watching Steve Waugh and the snarl at every opposition that feeble opposition that visited our harsh shores, our harsh, unwelcoming, unfriendly shores. Little did I know that 30 years later, it would be India snarling at us on our own shores, and we'd have two Christian blokes from Queensland, just jittering away, for the nation's pride. But, it swings and roundabouts in life, I guess, mate, and at the end of the day, 1 for 95, we are atop fucking Kilimanjaro from where we've been. It is, mate, it is party time over here.
And at the same time, when Kratz gets a couple of big wickets, when blokes have been chirping him, and he's like, I'm going to buy a house soon, another one, I'm going to buy a house with this laugh. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm going to make a huge down payment, lump sum.
911's Jaiswal, and just goes, well, there's an extension of the back porch, I better put the straight jacket on and not roar too loud. Anyway.
Can I say overall, Pezza, I suppose it's more reflective in India's bowling innings, but India didn't have a good day today. They weren't good today. The batting was unders, you'd say. Australia played well, but they've had a bad day, and they bowled poorly. I think that's fair to say. One day, and obviously now the series is 4-1. Fuck off. We understand that, and that's our right. But you can. I suppose you can see a window of light here, where it's like, well, geez, they were unders against New Zealand, and what's the narrative now? Bumrah and Jaiswal, just incredible Test matches. Just bringing everyone else up, and then you look at this innings, for instance, and Bumrah doesn't get the breakthroughs, gets a wicket off probably his last ball of the spell to get Khawaja, and then just everyone looks a bit international twos. Now the lengths were off. They didn't bowl enough at the stumps. There was a bit of carry on, but it's just it's not a good day. It's not a good day for India today, and they can come back and they can still win the Test match. Of course they can, but today they were off, and I suppose it's just a little reminder that. This team isn't completely indomitable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anytime India, gets a sniff of the Asian century, they obviously fall in a heap, which is a psychological issue that we have no idea why it exists, but it must be rooted in some historical stuff. All good. We know it's coming. As long as we have our 1 for 90 days, we're good to go. We're still hanging on. We're still hanging on. But... and I also think it's a big confluence of the hysteria around Australia's defeat. Let's have it right. Things can change quickly in this game. But Copeland showed that India was swinging the ball more than Kratz. They were struggling to get a handle on how much the ball was moving. I mean, at the start, I think they'd, 36 runs were on the board and 13 of them were in buys, that had gone for 4. They were trying to pin blokes LBW with massive induckers. I mean, if you're bowling pace for India and you've got those conditions, it must be so tempting to just be, you're bowling to guys whose eyes have been painted on under lights with the pink balls. I'm going to rip the biggest fucking in-swinger you've ever seen here and blow blokes' pads off. And it just didn't work for them. It was probably moving around too much. Then you get the cricketing gods, Mother Cricket, allowing Nathan McSweeney to get dropped by Rishabh, bounces onto Rohit's wrist or whatever the fuck. There's a really good shout, I think, from Harshit Rana off McSweeney as well. Or is it Nitish Kumar Reddy? I can't remember which one. And
Harshit Rana.
It's a good, it's a good decision from the umpire. It's going down leg, but it looked fucking salmon to me. And so it's just blokes getting a little bit of luck as well, and that's just what happens in cricket. It's evening out a little bit. You just hope that Australia can keep putting a good performance together here. Some batters can get some runs under their belt. I mean, from an Australian perspective here, of course, not from a deck extension perspective, and the series continues to be as hot as it is. I mean, I think what you said at the top is the abiding feeling at the end of all of this. It's just, to Indians watching this show, today and the last couple of days have been as fever pitch as cricket has probably felt in a couple of years here in Australia, because we're built on test matches and fierce contests, and in particular the nation gets itself going when we're a little bit down as well. So today was a really good day of Test cricket for Australia, and I do feel like it's people are a little bit gripped by it. So if this test continues the way that it is after one day, and we, and I'll call it now, this is an innings win for Australia, then it sets up the series ahead of the Gabba incredibly. But once again, we're just one day in.
Tune in tomorrow and see how it is panned out as we appear on freezing cold takes.
Exactly.
You know what? Because Pezza, like just thinking about the first innings when India were batting, like Rishabh was obviously dropped again by Sydney McSweeney in the gully, would have been a good catch, as Cummins' catch would have been in Perth, and then Nitish Kumar Reddy, NKR, was also once again out LBW this time instead of caught behind. They did not appeal. And then he made an extra 40 runs as he did in the first innings at Perth. So there was very replicable moments here. They got NKR got them to 180, and which felt like something. But
good knock. Good knock.
There has been a run of scores for India in first innings in the last 4 test matches, where their batters are also under pressure. Anyway, it's just going to be a good series. It feels like it's a good series after Australia's had one good day.
Yeah, that's right. It's good to see Australia back in the series. It's good to see it 1-1. Hey, just the one hashtag AskTGC here goes. Thanks for sending that through to me. It's from Dr. Devashish Palkar, blue tick, a medical
He's a sexologist,
doctor.
Pezza.
Oh, I see. He's called at Psyche Diaries. That's good. And he says, what happens when the batsman hits the ball high in the air and one of the pranksters working in the electricity department of the ground decides to switch off a light, followed by a wink emoji?
I think what actually happens is it would just be dead ball, yet like I can imagine the hysteria if like the fielder took the catch despite being like hindered. That I think it would actually just be dead ball in the same way that like if you hit the roof in an indoor stadium, it would be just dead ball despite even if the fielder caught it. So I think that's what would actually happen. But I think it just added to some chaos. I know during the ODI World Cup in India when like they were doing like the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 before the second inning started, and there was basically like flashing LED lights all over the stadium, and I think some of the fielders were like, "I can't see for 3 minutes after that happens."
I mean, I got to say, it's starting to get a bit much, isn't it? I mean, blokes have to go through a fucking bushfire to get onto the field sometimes. With the amount of fucking flames knocking about. I think it's actually quite distasteful to use fire in that way. So yeah, I agree. I've got no idea what the cricketing laws would be if, as Dr. Devashish asks, that actually happened. But and I was also thinking, in whose favour would the lights switching off have been? I originally thought that's going to break the batter's concentration. Then I realised that if it stays off long enough, then maybe they just get off the field and avoid the Jaws music of Jasprit Bumrah. So all good, Ronnie's up there switching it off. So I don't really know.
Yeah. And they start the day at midday the next day, just extra daylight time. Pezza and I will be in Adelaide tomorrow. You can catch us on the ABC during the first break, whatever that's called, where we're doing our TGC takeover, and we'll be outside the ground for day 2 of this review, where I suspect the test match is already over and Australia's won by an innings. So tune in again to see how wrong we got today and just cricket in general. Thank you very much for joining us here in TGC. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.